Hello and welcome to Old World Wednesdays. We are here yet again. Wednesday has rolled around quickly this time. We are talking about the lore today. Done enough rules and rumours and speculation and stuff like that. It turns out that while all these rumours have been circulating, the lore has been creeping along. So out of all of the new Arcane journals and things like that, and Warhammer community articles, loads has been happening in the old world. We've got a chaos invasion of the Empire. We've got Beastmen and Crownmore, the new character, converging in the Empire. And we've got Orion's World Hunt fighting in the Empire. It's all going on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Tankers raised. It's Old World Wednesday.
I don't have a tankard. I've got a cup.
You're out. You're sacked.
Yeah, I know. It's got nothing in it either. It's the worst.
Just before we start today's video about lore, I've got a question that I want to throw out to the community, and I want you guys to comment on this because most of yesterday, this is what I was thinking about. You know this sport? Have you heard of this sport called chess boxing?
Yeah, I've watched a fair bit of chess boxing, Daniel.
You've watched? Oh, right. So you do like a 3 minutes chess, then 3 minute round of boxing, and back and forth, and then the winner is either by knockout or by checkmate. And I was wondering what the Warhammer the Old World equivalent is. So you do like, you might do your whole turn or a phase, probably a turn, and then you need to go and do something like akin to boxing. What's the new sport going to be that pairs with that?
I've got one. I'm going to give you one real answer, Dan. But let's be honest, it's going to be competitive cheese eating or competitive drinking.
No, it's got to be like physical.
Yeah.
It's got to be like
not how many shoeies you can do in 3 minutes.
It's got to be like whitewater rafting or something.
Okay.
But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that and which is the best sport. Might be competitive cheese eating. What's the best?
I'm going to go with jousting, Dan.
Oh, you would go with jousting because you're a Bretonian player, and actually Bretonia and cheese, the two things they go very well together as well. Because yeah, okay.
The French love their cheese.
Shall we talk about some actual lore and do an actual video?
Before I say competitive surrendering.
Okay, let's start with the Chaos Arcane Journal and the new character that was introduced in this Arcane Journal is, here she is, Frydaal the Chainmaker.
What a glorious bit of model that is.
She's very cool. So I've been doing a lot of reading about Frydaal, and as of you, Tom, and she is from the Norscan Wastes, and she went on a bit of a, you know, when people go on these kind of spirits discovery, they might go like interrailing or have a gap year or something, and then like go and find themselves. She came back and she had grown bloody great horns. She was like fully devoted to chaos. She's got a flail that just like crushes people. She came back like insane, basically. And there's that faction, isn't there, in the Chaos Arcane Journal called the Wolves of the Sea, and they're known for doing like sea raids and things like that. So Frydaal has done what all good Chaos champions do, and she has gone and raided, pillaged, and invaded her neighbor. So she has gone. Oh, wrong map. I've got a map here somewhere. There we are. This is a map from the Arcane Journal, and you can see she's going into Westerland here, north of Westerland, like up by Marienburg. This is her invasion. So she's landed on the shores. There's a town there called Hollum, and what she's done is she's taken that town, and then that has become her base of operations. And then she did this, and then like winter happened, and they all settled in, and it took the Empire quite a long time to respond. So she actually managed to establish a really firm foothold there. And what she's done is, in the center of Holland, she's like created this dark monolith that is drawing in all the powers of chaos, and it's attracting more people to come and join her. And especially, we know in the Empire there are a lot of beastmen, and then right next to her there is Laurelorn Forest. So it's drawing all kinds of chaotic beastmen, beastmen, warriors, marauders, cultists, whoever wants to kind of have a go. They're all meeting there.
I think it's really important about that monolith you mentioned, because it's like bringing loads of dark magic to the realm of the Empire. It's slowly starting to corrupt people as well. So your best friend might be looking to stab you at some point if you turn your back on him. Watch out.
Yeah. And the Empire is in a bit of a period of disarray at the moment, because they're not unified. And they don't have one single ruler. They don't have an emperor. So there isn't really anybody who just goes, right, okay, let's get the army together. Let's gather all the provinces. Let's just go and march on this. It's left to, there's an empress. She's the pretender empress, and she's called Empress Elspeth Margarita VI. And she is in charge of Westerland at the moment, and she is like one of these many people that is claiming to be an empress or an emperor at the time. But at least she, goes and does something about it. So she mobilizes an Imperial army. But what's interesting is that her army it's not just the state troops from her region. It's also got mercenaries in that force. Which may be a little hint, because the rumor at the moment, isn't it, that the next Arcane General will be Dogs of War, and they're all mercenaries. So this might be a bit of foreshadowing or a little tease that there are mercenaries and Dogs of War fighting in the Empire at the moment.
Yeah, I like that brings in a lot of the mercenary rules in some of the Arcane Journals.
So a lot of these Arcane Journals, what they are doing is they're setting up a battle. So you will have Empress Margarita. Is that her name? Margarita, like the drink? Is that what I said? I can't remember.
Oh, it's going to be Margarita.
Yeah, Empress.
I wonder if she's a virgin Margarita.
Almost certainly not. Empress Margarita, that's what we'll call her, and Frydaal meet for this battle. And then what the Arcane Journals tend to do is then they give you a scenario so you can then play it, but they don't actually extend the lore beyond that point, so you don't know what the outcome is yet.
Not yet. It's not just some battle either. This is a huge bit of war.
Yeah, this is the biggest chaos incursion and the biggest fight between the Empire of Man and Chaos before the Great War against Chaos.
Levels of carnage.
And it's funny because when they were launching the game, we were saying it's about 100 years away, but now, with the date they've given, it's actually only about 25 years away before we have the Great War against Chaos, so we're really close now.
Pushing on really quickly, isn't it? Think about it. This Arcane Journal, you cover a span of 2270 up to 2276, where the pretend empress, the false god empress, decides she wants to come and dish out some justice to the Chaos Warriors.
Okay, so, and then we were talking, weren't we, that this has drawn a lot of beastmen to the region. So this is where Crownmore enters. And Crownmore is the new character in the Beastman Arcane Journal. And he's like, he's a prophet, and he was, and he's like, basically he was foretold by Morga that he would turn up and there would be this like blind beastman who would like cause all kinds of ruination and things like that. And he was like the prophesized one to come. So he is, he's pretty cool. He's a wizard. What his job is essentially is Morga is a character that's been in the Beastman lore for a really long time, and he's mentioned all over the upcoming Arcane Journal, I believe, because he's definitely mentioned in the Wood Elf one quite a lot. So he's important to the narrative, but he doesn't look like he's returning from what we've seen. But Morga, let's have a little image of what his...
But I think at the time he's returned, isn't he, Morgan? He's only a wee little babby.
Yeah, so Morga is the corruptor. So Morga, basically, wherever Morga walks and Morga goes, things just turn evil and corrupted. So if he walks through like a glade or a forest, it just all becomes like covered in rot and really nasty and twisted. You can imagine, like, I was talking to Jeremy about him. And he was like, if you shot an arrow at him, as it got to him, it would just turn into like a rotten fish or something. It'd just fly away. It'd be like that's what he does.
And your boy, your poster boy of the Wood Elves, it's always hunting Morgan, is it not?
So yeah, so a few years, I think we're kind of 20-something years or more on from when Aralos slayed Morga in Bretonia, and there was this big like secret war in one of the Bretonian forests, in the Forest of Arden it was. But what happens is when you kill Morga, he comes back. There's just no getting rid of him. He's just reborn somewhere else. So Crownmore's job is to search for the new Morga where he's been reborn. Interesting choice, really, to send him out because he's blind. So I don't know how good a job he's going to have at finding him or being able to see him.
A giant walking stick, and he can poke around.
Yeah, he can sense, the magic and the dark energies, I suppose, and make his way through there. So all the beastmen are kind of converging around Laurelorn Forest because of this dark energy that's drawing them in because of what Frydaul's been doing. But then also, it seems like Morga might be reborn in the Empire. Yeah. And where Crownmore is in Laurelorn Forest, there's some wood elves that live there. And then the beastmen just start like going to town on the wood elves. Basically, they're corrupting the forest. They're beating them in battle. The wood elves don't really have a chance, and they're building where the wood elves build these like protective magical waystones. The beastmen have their herd stones, don't they? That are kind of like the equal and opposite. So they're corrupting the forest, putting up dark monoliths of their own, putting up the herd stones, and then this is what draws Orion, who is the incarnate of the elven god of the hunt, to bring his wild hunt. Orion is also reborn every year and dies every year, but when he's born, he goes on like a rampage. So he's now going into the forest to try.
Does he not go into the forest at this point during the spring? Just woken up, so he's not really the height, the zenith power yet. He's just stormed off in a real.
Well, I think it's one of those things, isn't it, where like he's been reborn and then straight away it's like, right, we're in a load of shit over here, mate. So you better,
As I've been calling it, the Lorelei Forest, because someone keeps talking to me about Gilmore Girls, and I just can't get the name Lorelei out of my head. But the Laurelorn Forest is quite a small bastion. It's not a real big stronghold for them, so they're in need of help.
Yeah, and so what happens is the beastmen are overran. The wild hunt, people come and join the wild hunt as and when. People get kind of called to it, and it speaks to a kind of primal urge inside of Wood Elves. So it's not like an official army has been rolled out. Orion charges out, and wild riders will come along, and whoever wants to come along will join. But it's not a massive organized force. And what Crownmore has done is he's set up a trap for Orion, so he will draw Orion into the heart of Laurelorn Forest, and then he's lying in wait. He's like the bait, and then the ambushers arrive. So in the Wood Elf Arcane Journal, it sets up this fight, and basically you start off outnumbering the Beastmen if you're the Wood Elf player, and you've got like a couple turns, 2 or 3 turns to like kill Crownmore. But if you don't, then all the Beastmen reinforcements turn up.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good play.
So that's how the lore's been moving along. I mean, there has also been an article on the Warhammer community that's come out recently that was talking about different things happening and talking about Cathay. And one of the things that it talks about is that Cathayan troops will be turning up on the shores of the Empire as well. It says merchant ships are kind of, they might have like those sort of junk type ships are kind of commonplace, but not troops. But it doesn't say why they're turning up or when. But the game is called The Old World, and they need a way to to get Cathay into the old world, because it's not in the old world, it's not on the old world map, it's quite far away. So they need something to draw them in. Whether they're going to help against chaos, I don't know. But I can't see them. I can't see there being a war between the Empire and Cathay. They've got to be allies, I'd have thought.
No, so I mentioned that the Cathayan troops are arriving in giant like war galleys, right? They're not just showing up in their drips and crabs or merchant. It's hundreds of armies worth of ships rolling into the Empire docks.
Yeah, I think what it says as well is that it says that they're quite commonplace to be seen, the merchants in Marienburg, which obviously is the big port, but that it mentions Marienburg is interesting because this is where we are. This is Westerland, so it might well be to help with this chaos incursion. I hope that it's something like that. But we have been talking for a while, haven't we, on and off, about where we think this might lead. And then there was that rumor, wasn't there, that there's going to be a campaign coming out?
Yeah, so one of the most recent rumor videos we did was all about there's a tail end bit that was about the War of Chaos actually being done as a campaign book. Which you could see, because some of the rumors would suggest that your Dogs of War are coming in, your Kislev troops are coming in, the Norska tribes are supposed to be getting their own rule book.
I think this is a good way, isn't it, of starting to get the lore, when you've got to update the Arcane journals, of getting people into the old world, so we know. For example, it started off kind of in the Border Princes, didn't it? There was a bit of there was Bretonnians fighting Tomb Kings and things like that, and all these factions are converging. But now they're more and more converging in the Empire. And I don't know if they'll do the Great War against Chaos straight away. It'd be amazing if they did. But I don't know if they will just see how this scenario plays out first. Well, it's all super interesting, isn't it, what's going on? I'm really enjoying this. Because I think one of our criticisms of Warhammer Fantasy, as much as we loved it, was that it was very static, and the rule books, you'd get a new rule book and all the stories would be the same. The only exception would be if there was a new unit or a new character, they'd have to retcon what they've done, but essentially it was the same. But this feels like it's moving forward, and then hopefully in the next batch of Arcane Journals, the next edition, they'll move it forward again. We'll find out what happened in these battles and who was the victor or not. So that would be really cool to see. But I think it was just definitely worthwhile covering it because it has been creeping along. It is focusing on the Empire. So just let us know in the comments if there's anything else in the lore that you've noticed that we've missed. These seems to be the big ones that stand out to us. Let us know what you think of this cool, moving timeline and us finding out new bits of information. Do you think that a campaign is coming? Does it make you want to theme your armies a bit more? I'm going to play this scenario we were going to go in November, but it's going to be late October now. And Ross over from the Shades of Chaos channel is painting up a beautiful Beastman army. And we're going to play this scenario where I'm going to bring Orion in the Wild Hunt. And then he's going to have Crownmore waiting for me in the forest. And we're going to see how that goes. So, yeah, really cool, really fun. Just let us know what you think, basically, because we read every comment. We love getting involved and engaged. And I think that's it for this week.
Could be. I was thinking, would water polo Warhammer work? I don't think it does.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Water polo. That's a good one to throw out there.
No one's doing joint water sport, are they?
I don't really know if that is like a one-on-one game though. How do you do one-on-one war? You'd have to
You have to do apocalypse style, wouldn't you? You have to do a storm of chaos, storm of magic.
Yeah, you need. Yeah, you need to do a big game to do the water polo. You could do what's that exercise in the water called that they do? Aquarobics. Aquarobics. Maybe it's that. Anyway, for more nonsense and then the occasional sprinkling of lore or rumors or chat about actual Warhammer, Make sure you have subscribed and click the bell if you want to be updated. However, we do go live every single Wednesday, so it's hard to miss. If it's a Wednesday, there'll be a video. We've not missed one yet since we've returned, so we're on a bit of a roll. So yeah, all right. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We will catch you next time.